So we'll start off the break you have in between these two games, the 8 days. How important is that, and what do you guys work on during the week when you have that much time off?
It's definitely beneficial towards us. It's just a matter of getting our legs back together and just kind of, putting our head for the next game. We have a lot of time, so it's just kind of like how we can prepare for it, not necessarily on the field, but off the field, like doing the right things and hydrating well, sleeping well, and just all the little things actually really count in a big game that's coming up like Saturday. But we have 8 days to prepare for it, and the coaches know what they have to do, and so do we. So we trust the system, and all we have to do is step on the field and execute it.
And you played 2 non-conference games last week, back to the Big Ten this week. Do you approach it any differently?
Definitely, these are 2 must-win games, and the other games are also, but this is definitely like something that we need. We could still finish anywhere as far as 8th or 1st on the division, and we're obviously going for that number 1 spot. We just know what we have to do, and that's why we're coming out flying on Saturday.
How huge is something like home field advantage in that Big Ten tournament?
Oh, it's huge, especially with a fan base like ours. It completely changes the perspective of a game. Every team that you see, they hate playing at Ludwig because of the atmosphere, but that's something that we take pride in, and we try to do the best we can every day to give them something to watch, and it's definitely a big home field advantage, and that's what we need, and that's what we're going to go for.
I'm looking a little more critically at the last 2 games you guys played. Delaware was more of an offensive team, and the result went their way. Washington a little bit more defensive. Ohio's another defensive team as far as shots and everything. Mm-hmm. Is that something that went into planning this week and recognizing the difference between how this team performs against offensive teams and defensive teams?
Not so much. Delaware was definitely a game that we should have won, but I don't think we're really looking into the defensive part. We have the factors in our team, both defensive and offensive, so as long as we're both playing on the same page, and Saturday shouldn't be a big problem for us.
Recently, the defense has been struggling with players not being available due to different circumstances. Has that changed your play in the midfield?
No. We all trust one another. We know that the next person who's going to come in and fill in the hole is going to give it his all, and that's what we kind of do. We work off one another, so regardless if somebody's missing, just on the next person, they know what they have to do, and they pick up their shift, and that's what a team does, and that's what we stick to.
You've played MLS Academy teams, mm-hmm. and you played a year in Holland.
Correct.
How does the atmosphere and the style of play? Sasha's been known to have a very professional mm-hmm. style of coaching here. How has that matched up to your previous experiences in soccer?
Definitely. The biggest thing for me here is just kind of like the physical demand of the game. In college is very different. Coming from Holland, and the MLS Academy is very development and technical and tactical things went into play. But now as you get older and you're playing with people that are 3-4 years older than you, physical demand kind of comes into play. I think the biggest difference for me is just the atmosphere as well. You have to adjust to playing in front of so many people, because emotions can really take over the game for you, and it can win you a game or it could lose you a game. So you just have to know how to balance that with your performance. And I just think that Sasha is very professional in what he does. He definitely has his routine, and he does it very well. And that's why he's been here for so long and had so much success. But I just think that the big difference is just kind of adjusting to the atmosphere and just the physical demands of the game. So,
thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So back to Maryland soccer.
Yeah.
Talking this week. What about this break is important for the team, having played 2 games last week and then the 8-day break before going back to Big Ten play?
Well, we've had one of the most difficult schedules in the country, and we've had to find the energy to get everyone's best game, sometimes on 2 or 3 days rest. We knew these last 2 games were going to be critical to the way things would shake out in the Big Ten, so I purposely wanted a week, a little longer than a week, to get the team in a good mental and physical state. So this week was all about getting the right balance of some quality work in, but also to find enough rest to get their bodies and minds re-energized and revitalized and rested appropriately.
And speaking about rest, there's definitely been fatigue and other circumstances about the back line, about most of this team. Is the team back at that full strength level?
Well, we're in a better place now than we've been at any time in the last month.
And looking at Ohio, compared to the last 2 weeks, you played a more offensive-minded team in Delaware, several shots on goal. They ended up with the result. And then against Washington, more defensive. They fight 5 in the back, less shots on goal, and you come out with the win. Ohio's another defensive team. Did you use last week and how this team plays against offensive and defensive teams going forward?
Well, Ohio State is having a great year, and we knew before the year started that they were going to be among the elite in the Big Ten this year. They got off to a slow start, but they've been very, very good in the second half of the season. And we're going to show them a lot of respect by how we play. But we're going to focus on the things that we do well and make sure that we're not getting sidetracked with our game. And I think the Washington game was one of our most complete games of the year, and we hope to take that kind of quality and energy and get a little sharper in the execution in the attacking half. But other than that, that was a great performance.
Coming off with the momentum from a victory, and Ohio's coming off, ending an 8-game winning streak against Rutgers, who's now on the top of the Big Ten. Do you think that they'll take any of that towards Maryland? Does that help them going into this game?
I think at this stage, teams know how to respond well after a loss and after a win. So at this stage, I think the teams are seasoned. They know who they are and what they're all about. So I don't suspect it's going to be anything different, except that they're going to be gung-ho and ready to go, and we're going to be gung-ho and ready to go.
And right now in the Big Ten, you could end up 8th, you could end up 1st. How important, 1, are these next two games, and 2, getting that home field advantage in the Big Ten tournament? Well,
we're not thinking about home field advantage. Right now we're thinking about putting together a really good performance at Ohio State and giving us an opportunity to get a result. So we're a very process-oriented team. We know the significance of this game, but we are going to be completely focused on the playing portion and on the process of playing, the details that are necessary for us to win. So that's where we're at right now, and other things will take care of themselves.